Welcome to this lesson. In our last lesson, we discussed comments. When we see comments as something that explains our code, when you write a code and you give it to somebody, the person will open it and go through your code. So it will not be difficult for the person to understand your code. Today we are going to discuss what we call HTML attributes. HTML attributes. So HTML attributes is found within the opening tag. Is found within the opening tag of HTML element. Found within the opening tag. So we know what opening and closing tag is. For example, if we have paragraph P like this, and this is an opening tag for the paragraph, and this is the closing tag for the paragraph. So if you want to place HTML attributes, it should be placed inside the opening tag. It is not inside the closing tag. This is opening tag, and this is closing tag. So every HTML element has opening tag and closing tag. I told you in our last lesson. Okay. So what do we use this HTML attributes for? So for example, if you have the paragraph, like, let me say this is a paragraph and this is the content in the paragraph. So these HTML attributes help us to explain the HTML element. It helps for the explanation of the HTML element. It helps us for explanation. So it adds more information about the HTML element. So to add more information about the HTML element, and also the behavior and the appearance of a HTML element. It also changes the behavior and the appearance of HTML element. Okay, let's go to the code editor. Let's go to the code editor. So inside the code editor, we are going to create, inside this our folder, my first web, we are going to create a file for HTML attributes. So come here, come to this folder, and you will see this icon, new file. Then you click it, you bring out this. Then you write attributes dot attributes.html. This is a file that we have created for attributes. We call it attributes.html. Okay, let me copy the index file. Just select it and right click, copy it so that we won't waste time. Then you go to the attributes, want to paste the file, the structure. Every HTML have the same HTML structure. HTML file have the same HTML structure. That is why we copy it. Then let me paste and change this one to, instead of first website, let me call it attributes, because that is what we are discussing as the title of our discussion. Attributes. And this one, the heading to, let me say attributes. So because we are discussing attributes. Okay. So let me just right click and let me click and save the file. Okay, let's see the syntax for this attributes. Let's see the syntax for this attribute. Let's go to the whiteboard. and see the syntax for this attribute. The syntax for attribute. Okay. So we put less than sign. I said in the first tag, opening tag of HTML element, we put less than sign. We put the tag name, the name of the tag. Tag name. This is the name of the tag, and the space. We give a space and attribute name. Attribute name. Put equal to, then double quote, and inside the double quote you have attribute, the value for the attribute. Value. Attribute value. Then you close the double quote. Attribute value. Then you close it. Okay. This is the syntax. Then you close the tag. You close it like this. So this is the syntax. This is the opening tag. So the name of your element, let me say the name of element, let me call it attributes. Because we are discussing attributes. The name of the element is attributes. So now, let's close this tag. This whole thing is the opening tag. And inside this opening tag now, we have the tag name. This is the tag name. And we have already put attribute. Attribute name equal to, open double quote, and inside the double quote you put the attribute value. Attribute value. Okay. So, and let's close the. This is the name. The content, I mean, this is the content. Let's use the content as attribute or content attributes. This is the content of this element. Okay, now let's close the tag. Closing the tag is less than slash and only the tag name. Tag name. Then you close it. So you can see this is opening tag. This is the closing tag. This is what you want to write in the context. So this is what we call the syntax. Syntax of writing attributes. All of them follows like this. Okay, let's see example. For example, a page. Want to put a syntax there. Attribute. So less than p. So, and we want to put, this is the tag name, like the same thing as this, tag name. Same thing as this. So we want to put attribute name. Let's say the attribute is style. The attribute is style. So we want to style, we want to give the appearance, we want to change the color of this. The appearance, the behavior. Using the attribute, we want to change the color of this, the appearance, as I explained to you. That attribute helps us to change the behavior and the appearance of the content of an element. So let's say the style. We want to put the style to be something like red. We want to change the color to something like red. So instead of it being the normal color, we want to change it to something like red and close it. So let's see our content. Let's assume that this is our attribute. Then you close the tag using closing P. You can see this is where we put the attribute. This is the attribute name. This is the attribute name, and this is the attribute value. And that is what we want to explain. So in our last lesson, we go to code editor and see how the attributes will look like in the code. Thanks for watching. See you in our next lesson.